What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Axe Creation. And in this week's lesson, we're going to check out how we can go from a single note idea all the way up to some modern contemporary chord voicings. All right, so let's check out the idea and then we'll come back and we'll break some of it down. Alright, everybody, so I hope you liked some of those chords. I'm a big fan of those modern voicings, alright? And I wanted to share with you a few ways how we can work our way up from some single note beginner style ideas to some more advanced modern chord voicings, okay? So before we get started, I am in standard tuning, and down in the description below, you can find a link for the tabs. So first, let's take a look at the single note idea itself, okay? Super simple, it's kind of based around E minor, alright? And we're gonna basically descend 7, 5, 3, open, and we're gonna mix in some dead notes. Even though it's a single note idea, it's still not super straightforward, right? Okay, so we do have some dead notes in there, and if you notice on the tabs, when we shift chords to the A on 5 and to the open, which is E, right? You'll notice that chord is not on the downbeat of the second measure. We've shifted it over to the first measure, and then we kind of tie it over the bar line, right? Some nice songwriting techniques there, masking the downbeat. Super nice, all right? So, again. Okay, so like I said, it's B, A, G, and E. So how can we build chords? Well, first step as a beginner, we take those single notes and we transfer them and we just make simple power chords. Not even worried about harmony per se yet, right? So power chords, if you don't know, root and a fifth, and you'll see that notated in the tab, B5, A5, G5, and that 5 really just means you're playing the root note and a note 5 notes away, and that's what happens here. For example, if I'm playing G, and you see G5 written, it's root note G and then G, A, B, C, D, right? 5 notes away. That's all they're telling you. All right. So again, no harmony here, just power chords, first finger, third finger. If you want to, you could put your pinky in there, make it root, fifth octave. All right. I do suggest that. It kind of thickens up the chord, and as well as it prepares you to play bar chords if you're having a trouble with those. So again, same riff, power chords. Okay, and I like to jump up there. You have the E5 down here, open 2, and then you jump up 7 on the A string. Get a nice variation of your chord. Helps turn it around a little bit. All right, so that's kind of level 1. Level 2, we can move these chords to bar chords, right? Major, minor bar chords. Standard for every intermediate player, kind of the next progression we go to. All right, and I mentioned earlier that this is kind of based in E minor. All right, so I'm kind of pulling from those. So it ends up being B minor to A major to G major to E minor. Okay, now maybe some of you were saying, you're familiar with your harmony, saying, Greg, A major, C sharp, not in the key of E minor. And you're right, all right? But it's still kind of Dorian based, which is a minor mode, and that's where I'm kind of drawing from on this particular example, because I thought it sounds good. I don't know, maybe you don't. Maybe you like the way A minor sounds. Experiment, you're not wrong. Have fun, all right? So let's check that out. Minor bar chord on B, so it's 7, 9, 9, 7, 7, 7, barring with our first finger. Now, some of you, if you have problems barring, one thing I kind of try to tell students is you're not playing all 6 strings with your first finger. you're only playing the low string and then the top 3 strings. So that's where your pressure should be. Play with your fingertip here, and don't try to flatten out your finger and play all of those strings. Kind of put the pressure down in this area of your hand, and when you pull into the guitar, the pressure is here. That can help you get those high strings out. And of course, you'll notice there's that pinky in there, which is why I suggest learning power chords with your pinky. B minor, shifting down, same chord shape, except I have to take my middle finger, 3rd string, right in the middle there. G string, C sharp. Same chord, 3rd position, B. G. And then E minor. And again, I'm doing the same thing I do with the power chords. Root position, open position, E minor chord, up to the 7th position on 5th string root with the low string. That sounds like this. All right, pretty straightforward, but those bar chords can definitely be tricky. Okay, so now let's kind of move to the 3rd level and change these bar chords to some more modern voicings. All right, what do I mean by that? We can argue about it, but suspensions, maybe some tensions in your chords, some extensions on these notes, on these chords, and I'm not just talking about 7th chords. Right, we can go from bar chords to 7th chords, but I don't find that 7th chords really vibe with this kind of rock type of riff, right? So that's why I think some of these sus sounds work a little bit better. So the first chord I'm doing is this voicing. A little tense, we have a power chord on 7th fret, 7, 9, and then reach way back with my 1st finger here and grab the G. Big fan of this chord. I get this chord from essentially this E minor 9 super minor. Right? I discovered this in an old Testament song. I was like, yes, that's a cool chord. But I like taking away those strings and just playing 9, 11, 8. Oh, that's gorgeous, right? But putting on the low strings still sounds just as good. So that's what I'm using. 2nd chord off the A. Rather than an A major, because we were playing that before, I'm going to take the 3rd of the chord and put it up here. So it's 5, 5, 2. A nice sus4 voicing. Really nice. And as we move to the G chord, I'm going to play this chord, right? sus2, add2. Probably more of an add2 kind of vibe, but very familiar. The Police, right? Whatever. But 3, 5, 7. Okay, so far. Very nice. And then for the E minor chord, I'm going to play open E, octave on 7, and then I'm going to kind of keep that F sharp that we played with before and put it on the D string, 4th fret, and put in my open G chord, right? E and G, it implies G minor. All you need is a root and a 3rd for that minor sound. But the clash between F sharp and G is just beautiful. And then put a little slide up from the 5 to 7, or D to E. Just picking it out. And there you go, right? Couple different ways we can go from absolute beginner to sounding like a pro with some modern contemporary voicings. I hope you guys dig that. Like I said, down in the description below, you can find a link for the tabs. And as always, let me know what you come up with. Till then, I'll see you next time. Thanks a lot.